Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Goodcast Show. So today I have with me a teacher, Chego. He's been working 14 years as a teacher. He's been the ex-representative of the Mission Schools Council Johor. He's also a founder of Sapphire Malaysia Services and Sapphire Academy. In these 14 years, he's worked with many different schools, including Hin Hua High School, Mindrich International School, MDIS College JB, Kwang High School. And he's worked with NGOs to deal with student motivational camps as well as mentorship for kids with challenges. So today's topics will be revolving around social media and children. This is a topic I've covered many times on this podcast, but this is the first time that we have a teacher who's experienced with kids and has a first view of the problems that social media causes children. So I can't wait for your comments. I can't wait for your feedback to what he's about to say. Let's see whether is it controversial and does it give value to you on how to better raise your children. Ladies, please welcome Chegu Kevin Raj. How are you, teacher?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for coming on. You have been watching this show for a bit?
Yeah, since the beginning.
Oh, wow. Look at that. There we go, man. Thank you so much for your support and good to have you on. So let's start with you, man. So before we get into this topic, what made you decide to become a teacher?
Oh, it was my mom.
Your mom? Your mom's a teacher?
Yeah, mom is not a teacher. She used to work as admin. But I actually wanted to become a police. And then mom said, you're my only child. So she said, why not... don't take the option of killing people, rather try to save people through education.
I don't think police kill people.
So she was one of the reasons why I took up teaching.
Okay.
It was also her ambition once.
Okay.
So I am happy in the sense that I was able to fulfill it.
Okay. Yeah. Now you've been a teacher for 14 years, and you teach what sort of subjects again?
Business, economics, and English.
Okay. So for 14 years, that's fair to say that you've sort of have experience with two different generations. Fair enough, right?
Fair enough.
What is the key differences between these two generations in the 14 years that you have been teaching?
Well, I can say in my first 5 years before social media was actually at a very peak level, there were more gamers. So a lot of gamers through Counter-Strike, and kids were that time only getting into more of League of Legends games and all that. And then after that, the trend shifted towards social media. And the two generations, from one that used to be excessive gaming, now has got excessive scrolling and many more things. I think technology has advanced. And the socializing factor is there in compared to the previous one. And also the activities have lessened. I think the fields are empty. And also badminton courts also now getting crowded after the bronze medal, I guess. Yeah, but other than that, there's a lot of...
sorry, that means you're saying that kids are not participating in sports enough now?
More to face-to-face activities where it involves teamwork and so on. It has been deteriorating in recent times. So most of them, if you see, are more on their phones and also maybe laptops, in comparison to what was at the beginning when I started teaching. So that's the difference that has been going on recently. As
a teacher in this field, now when you're like what you're saying now, that there is a difference, children are more scrollers as opposed to gamers as before. I think it started with my generation. When I was in school, I remember we used to skip school to go play Counter-Strike in the cyber cafe. Back then they had cyber cafe, right? Counter-Strike condition 0. And I remember those days, I was horrible at that game, never was good. So what I'll do is I'll play that game. Eventually I'll just escape and then go play FIFA on the PC. Yeah. But when you are saying that children are now not engaging in face-to-face activities, is it entirely their fault or are the parents to be blamed as well?
In a way, yes. Because encouragement begins at home. While many people may deny that, they say that most of the time the kids are in school and it's the school's responsibility, 8 hours they are there or some sort. But the truth is, it comes from home. Getting them into activities or monitoring their progress and watching over what they do, or even having a discussion with them on their thoughts, their philosophies, or their journeys, their ambitions. So I wouldn't say that parents are not to be blamed, but even to blame them 100% is also tough, because we have a lot of working adults these days, and times are tough as well. So some of them do 2 jobs, 3 jobs in one day. So, but yes, definitely parents play a huge role in monitoring the kids' progress and also what they do, and also how they are going to showcase their talents and so on.
Now, how much of a problem is the current tendency to keep scrolling? How has that impacted a student's capability to learn?
Okay, so while most social media is based on hook, and many parents are unaware of this, or maybe they are also part of this, so they think it's normal to scroll. But what happens is that when that scrolling becomes a habit, then it ends up being an addiction. It's just like when there are some people who like to play with the pens, like press the button, and
I am that person.
and now it's like the scrolling factor comes in, where they can actually sit at one place and scroll for a start maybe 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. After a number of times, it becomes a daily routine. Every single gap they get, they want to scroll. And this will get them hooked on it. And eventually they will not, look at other things as hobbies. So from a normal routine, now it has become a hobby. So when you ask a kid, like, what do you do during your free time? I scroll. So I scroll on social media, and I watch videos. Those days we used to say, I have to say those days, we used to say that they watch YouTube videos. But now it's more like watching social media videos, short plays and so on. So these kind of things have, which used to be just a one-off, now has become like a 3-4 hour constant scrolling.
But in terms of their performance in school, now I've seen a lot of examples, a lot of parents online, social media showcasing the amazing results their children achieved. I could be wrong, but I feel like nowadays the number of A's that these kids achieve is way more than my time. I feel that, I don't know whether, does that say that my generation was dumber or they are smarter? I don't know. But if it's not affecting their education performance, or if it does, please let us, please tell, does it impact their character? Like for instance, in your 14 years, do you find it tougher to deal with kids who were, say, as you say, more gamers as opposed to kids who are more scrollers? Who's the tougher generation to deal with?
The tougher generation to deal with would be definitely the latest one.
Okay.
One of the things is like, if you look at it, their defense mode is more. And it doesn't mean a student gets all A's that they are good. That one I will definitely call it out. Because we have encountered kids who can get 10 A's, but they fail scholarship interviews. So that is because their exposure to real life scenarios and thinking out of the box is very limited. So if the scrolling factor, we see more A's these days, but there's something called threshold in exams, whereby we have average scores, and then based on that average score, we will decide the passing rate.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah.
Please share.
Yeah, okay.
Thank God you're here to share this.
Because
I was shocked when I heard the actual numbers, but please share.
Yes, you see, most people think that, if the A scores go higher, it's because they are doing very well. But every exam body, I could say even Cambridge itself, Cambridge UK, they do have something called a grade threshold. So it goes by based on their evaluation, and then they will see, they definitely will do their own mechanisms, and they will set the grade threshold for the exams. So at some point of time, if the threshold goes higher, then the passing grade goes higher, then it's very difficult to get the A. And then when there are too many people who actually fail the paper, then definitely the average scores will drop. So when that happens, it's the number of people get the A's tends to be more, because despite us having so many A scorers, but the scholarships that we get is very minimal. That's one. And also getting into like the top 10 universities seems to be tough. So there are some students who go to Singapore and then they fail the interviews and come back because of maybe their English literacy is not strong and these kind of things. So it doesn't mean what you see as an A is an A. Yeah.
Because the whole minimum to get A is much lower.
Yeah, it tends to happen, especially when we have too many people who have actually failed the paper. So I remember it came out of the news once the passing grade for admits was very low, and they started scrutinizing and all that. But they follow a mechanism of setting an average score each paper. So we can't totally blame anybody when the average scores are too low. So you have to bring down to get the grades going. So this happens even in international scale. So I would definitely say what we see as A's tends not to be A's. Okay.
I don't feel so bad about myself now. Okay, so now let's go back to social media for a bit. So obviously this is an issue. Even I've seen it in my circles as well. When we look at like you as a teacher dealing with this, when you deal with students who are very sort of as you say, addicted to social media, scrolling with the short content format now where it's very popular. How do you deal with it?
It's tough.
Okay.
It's tough to deal with it. One of the things is like through our lessons, while most teachers are aware of this, when we take our teacher's oath and all that, sometimes when we look at it, their character, when it's wrong or when their character is deteriorating, it's part of our responsibility to also try to get them out of it. So even during my time in school, we did have teachers who really could give us the push when we move away or stray away. And that's why even the schools have counselors, but now counselors are looked as a taboo. So, but the way I would deal with it on a regular basis is because one of the things that I believe in any school system or education system, there is a triangulation between parent, teacher, and child. So before speaking to the child, I will speak to the parent because they need to know. So they need to know what's happening with the kid. They will need to know what are the consequences of it. So when we speak to them, when we tell them, okay, this is the situation, and now I have to tell you, the phone is the problem. Social media is the problem. So what do you want me to do? Because if we do something that the parents are not happy with, they will come knocking at our door, saying that even I'm not bothered, why you want to bother? So when we...
you mean parents actually say that to you?
Yeah. We had this incident once when we actually saw one of our students on Instagram. She's only 14, I think 14 or 13. And she was posting pictures which are not appropriate for her age. So, but many people are not aware of the Child Protection Act, so they just think they can, if it's their child, they can do whatever they want. So when we saw this picture, we told this kid like, you shouldn't be doing this. And then she quotes like, oh, my mom is aware of it. She's okay. So when we spoke to the mom, and then she says like, yes, I'm okay with it. I'm aware of what she did. So it went to the extent where I had to tell the mom like, okay, are you aware of the Child Protection Act or not? You please go and have a read first, because someone can just report you. And then I think she took it very seriously, and then she told the daughter to remove everything, because there are certain things that they are not allowed to do. In fact, some of them are not even supposed to have social media because like there's an age limit. So like recently YB Fahmi said that WhatsApp, the rules and regulations or whatever, it says that 16 and above. So at the end of the day, if you allow something that is not the child's age, and so the parents have to take responsibility. So normally we will talk to the parents first, and we will tell them, okay, this is what's happening, and so what do you want me to do? It's just like, I want you to help her. So we will tell them, okay, but you have to help as well. So like when they go back home, take the phones away and then keep it, or set the parental control. For some reason, I find it weird because Google has something called digital well-being and parenting. Most phones have it. Uh, iPhone also has it, but most parents do not um, uh, set the parental control where they can actually monitor what the kids are doing on their phones. So one is maybe because they are unaware of this, or maybe they just don't want to do it. So we will, in that way, we will try to set the parental controls for them. Or if they are not interested, I will be the one controlling. So as the teacher, I will ask them permission and say, okay, if you don't want to do it, then I will do it. Because if you want your kid to improve, I will have to do something. Otherwise, it's not going to improve. Yeah, so I can't sit and see we give homework after homework, but ChatGPT has everything.
Exactly, exactly. That's the new teacher now.
Yeah, the ChatGPT is now the guru of all gurus, and
yes.
so they have everything. They can answer everything. Even maths, you can just take a picture and then you just put through an AI. It answers everything. So as a teacher, we know this is happening. So sometimes when parents ask us, "Can you give homework?" I say, "Can you make sure you monitor at home? That can you guarantee that they are not using the app to answer? Because if not, it defeats the purpose. I can just give an essay topic. ChatGPT can just, you just have to go and type. Okay, can you type an essay? Can you make it a bit broken?" And then he or she really tailors it according to the demand of the kid. So on our side, we will think the kid is doing very well, but later on in the exam, it shows otherwise. So that is why we will tell the parent, okay, we will give homework, but you need to do monitoring at home as well. So if they can't, then the homework defeats the purpose. So through this, we negotiate with them, and then thankfully, the parents who we have talked to, most of them understand, but there are some who still don't. So normally, the negotiation is what we.
No, it seems like the stakeholders to ensure the proper path of a child it involves parents, it involves teachers and all that, right? I'm amazed that I hear you as a teacher today so involved in the daily lives. I mean, that's amazing. Like, I think teachers should be like that because I come from that time. I come from a time where, teachers would beat you. I think for me growing up as a student, I was always sent to the discipline room. I was beaten, and then how we would never tell our parents, because if you tell your parents, then either your parents will come to school and then go back and beat you, or they'll beat you then.
Exactly.
Right? I've always wanted to get a teacher's opinion on this. Do you think that the key issue with us today, parenting, is that we no longer punish our children? Because I've seen in like places like say like for example like malls and all these grocery stores where parents negotiate with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was not like that when I was there. Was no means no.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that's a mistake that we did?
Well, punishment, yes, it worked before, but now definitely I would say looking at the sensitivity of the generation of today is risky.
Why so?
Because they are exposed to too many stories, and they are exposed to too many talks of depression, stress. So a little bit, if you are too hard on them, they are going to start taking those measures in.
Meaning that they will use what they have seen as an excuse.
Yes, definitely. Because like, I will just quote one example of a situation we went through. There was a kid whose phone was taken away in a very harsh manner, and she ended up cutting her hand. They don't know the risk of cutting that. They've only seen it in the movies maybe, but then what happens if they cut the wrong nerve and the girl is dead? So we have to understand that sometimes they are quite sensitive, and we have to be very careful with the approach. Too hard also risky, but there is a method. Definitely we need to find a method to get into them. The generations have changed where I say you do. It's no more like that. So even if you punish, you can only punish to a certain extent. You can beat them. Last time you beat them, they were out of fear, they will do. But eventually, once they outgrow you, they will get back at you. Eventually.
Has that happened?
It has happened to one of the, I think like 6 years ago or 7 years ago, one of the students actually ran away from the house. So that is because like they know they can survive. So it's like, I don't need to be here. So ran away. And then the parents like trying to negotiate to get them back and all that. And after that, sat down and found out like this person has been talking to this person, and then eventually this person convinced that this is the right thing to do. So they once reach like 14, 15, they can open the lock themselves. So there's only to a certain age you can punish. So eventually punishing would not be the best method now, because somehow they can actually recover from that. The negotiation method seems to work, but it may look very weak because of the way they negotiate. So if, for example, somebody does something wrong and then, you're going to say, yeah, don't do that. so that boy will be like, I'm not scared of this.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
there's no consequence to the actions.
There's no consequence to the actions. But of course, harsh punishment shouldn't be there. Like beating and all nowadays is, you can go to jail also. So, it just takes the kid to report and, I was abused, and then it's a whole load of process, and another kid will see that as an example, and then they will follow, hey, so he did that, I'm going to do it also. So at the end of the day, nowadays everything is very, very vulnerable, so we have to be careful with the approach. But definitely if we, consequences can be there. For example, like they don't have any entertainment. Yeah, that one is one way. Like, okay, you don't do, there's no any sort of benefits you get from here, which means no TV, no games, no nothing. So then they will understand like, okay, so I have to be careful. So the negotiation should be like that, like, not like try to pacify them, but rather tell them, okay, if you want this, then you have to behave better. So then they will understand and say, okay, you know what, I will. It's a rewarding factor.
I've always, because I'm a parent, and now my children are very young, right? Very, very young. So I do not allow phones, not at all. Even if they hold the phone, I shout at them.
Yeah.
But which has benefited because I see their development and all that. But I know that down the road, they will have to go to school.
Yes.
And I know that when they do go to school, they will be exposed to people who use phones. Very young kids.
Very young kids.
And as a father, as a parent, I know myself, even, I give you one very simple example. When TikTok first came out, TikTok had come out for a few years, but I was not into it. Then one day I said, okay, let me see what this thing is all about. And this is like recently, maybe a few years back. And I was lying on my couch, and then I was just scrolling. And suddenly I realized, oh my God, 2 hours just passed by.
Yeah.
Right? And when that happened, I was like, whoa, but I'm an adult. I can know what is right, what is wrong. I know my responsibilities. I know what are my priorities. But if I'm a kid who has none of this, I can be hooked in. And I've seen cases, even in people in my circle who, the children are just glued to the phone. They one hand the phone, the face tilted, and that's it. When that happens to me, when my children have to go to school, how does one strike a balance between ensuring that they are not corrupted, ensuring that their futures are preserved, that they are brought up the right way, and the usage of phone and social media?
Technically, they don't need social media. Young kids, at least until the age of 16 or some sort, they don't actually need a social media. Because the socializing that we should encourage as parents is face-to-face gatherings, or something like Toastmasters, but Toastmasters is 18 and above. But there are so many groups or group activities or socializing groups that are there. So get them involved in like charity works and all this kind of thing, so that they get to see different aspects of life. But some parents would argue definitely that they don't have the time for that. But that's where the schools come in. So one of the things that the school's role in a child's life is teaching them the right thing, and also getting them to understand what life is. So at one point of time, nowadays we also have schools promoting social media. Social media competitions, using WhatsApp to
communicate,
give out information and communicate with the kids. This is something that I got to know recently that's happening in schools also. So in that case, the kids definitely will ask for a phone, because it's like, teacher is going to send me this on WhatsApp. So, okay. So they get them a phone. So the schools are also not playing the part, in the sense that One side we have on YB saying that, okay, 16 and above only you can use WhatsApp. Another side is the schools are texting 14 years olds or even 12-year-olds on what materials to bring for school the next day. So now we have a question mark, which is which?
Who's right and who's wrong?
Who's right and who's wrong? Because in one way, the school is trying to say that no need journals anymore. Because usually that was a trend. You write in a journal, there will be one book, and you have to write every single homework or whatever materials you need to bring. You have to take it back home, and then my parents used to check, and I'm pretty sure most of us would have gone through that. They will check, and then we will get the materials prepared. But at this point of time, it's different. Everything is being done on WhatsApp, which is also can be considered a social media as well. So every kid is going to require a phone. I need a phone. I need to see WhatsApp. And then through that, and then after that, the other social media starts to come in. And then they are exposed to other factors. So that responsibility also comes from the school. We also have teachers who are actively on.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that. Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, teachers TikTok. Actively on TikTok asking for gifts, going TikTok live during lessons, and also using the kids as baits to create more following. So at the end of the day, even the schools have to make sure that this is being controlled. This is that social media is actually not used in a wrong manner, and also you don't need to use phone in schools. I'm quite amazed by how kids actually can take phone to schools.
Back in the day, they'll suddenly if you take anything to school, then while studying, then you see the teacher coming, then there'll be a spot check, and then phone taken. Yeah, now no more, I think all that.
Yeah, nowadays there's no more. And the only certain social media platforms that they know, parents know, they can see, but they are also, like gamers have a social media platform called Discord. While many parents may not know about Discord, Discord has got an access to many people around the world. So you play a game and then you connect to gamer to gamer. But what they do not know is, for example, if you are on this platform, and then let's say you are connecting with a person who's from a different country, your child may be 11, that person might be 30.
Yeah.
So there we already have the potential pedophilia
risk there.
Which many parents are not aware, because they think that the only social media that's around is maybe TikTok or Facebook. But there are also gamers who connect through games as well, which they do not know. So they think, Roblox, it's a small thing, But who are they talking with? Who are the people they are socializing with? Where are they from? What if they start asking personal questions? So all these can only be known if it's monitored. So when they go to school, definitely it's the teacher's responsibility to monitor that the phones are not used. And also there is no need to take phones to the school, because any emergency they can use the school's phone and so on. So nowadays it's very hard to determine, but there must be a line that people need to draw to say that, okay, you don't need this. As I know, if I'm not mistaken, I think in Singapore, social media is restricted at workplace. I think they block off the sites. I'm not sure whether it's done in schools or not, but maybe that is one way of restricting, or maybe harsher punishments for those who illegally use phone in schools, or these kind of things can actually discourage them from having the phones during schools and so on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, you talked about a very, very a topic that I have been always it angers me, which is this pedophilia and all these things happening now. You're seeing more and more cases of abduction and all these type of things.
Yeah.
Kids running away, and then eventually you find their bodies. I mean, it's sad, it's tragic. I don't know why it's happening so much now in Malaysia. Have you come across any examples or are you experienced in this place where perhaps maybe a student or someone got in touch with someone who a potential predator through social media?
Quite a number. Yeah, I mean,
in school.
Not to say in school. I can just share with you some of it. One is definitely one of our students, where I think 12 years ago, where I was working in a school in Kwang, and then a student who's staying in a hostel got connected with a guy from don't know where. And then while she was going in, I think it's Aeon Mall, Bukit Raja, Bukit Tinggi. So while I was going, I said, hey, my student. And then, but she was holding hands with a guy who was like 10 years older to me, white hair and all this stuff. So
How old was she?
she was only 15. 15, and then because she stays in the they have a hostel or something like that. So they get to go out, I think after Fridays and so on. She was hanging around the mall, not knowing that I'm at the back. So right when we went back to the school the following week, and then I asked her, because I managed to take a picture, and then I asked her, who's this? And then she freaked out. So I just asked her, how did she get to know? And then she mentioned a SOCMAT platform.
Which was?
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're just naming a social media platform. Yeah.
Okay, so she said through WeChat.
Oh, WeChat. Okay.
Because WeChat has this thing where you can connect with people around you.
Ah, yes, I heard about it. Yeah, I don't use WeChat, but yeah.
Yeah, so WeChat has this feature where you set the location, and then a certain radius you can connect with so many people there. And then she managed to connect with this. She was not from here. She was from overseas. So she stayed here. So definitely the parents do not know. But this is how she got to know. Then that's one of the thing. And then when I asked the guy's age, he was 40. So then I spoke to the school, and then I told them, I said, have a word with the girl, counsel her, maybe don't give her the phone until a certain time. And after that, they did take some measures. And following that, I think like I can say like even quite recent primary student. So primary student was probably having a chat with an adult. And the saddest part is the child actually is not aware of certain things. And then this adult was exposing certain terms, sexual terms and so on. And then she's like, confused what it is. So we managed to know, because we managed to, there was one point, I like to do this. I get my students to bring their phones and unlock it in front of me. So they will argue, they say, teacher, this is my privacy. And I say, to hell with your privacy. You're not at that age. So you don't have privacy as long as you are with me. You don't have privacy. If your parents argue, I will report your parents also, because you don't have privacy until or at least you are maybe 15, 16. Depends on the app you use also. So if I see an app and there's the age limit and then you're using it, then sorry lah, I can confiscate your phone. So through that, then I managed to get the phone, and that's when I got to know. And many parents would not know. Like I said, there are certain social medias that, such as Discord or maybe, where they can have access to people whom they do not even know. This guy is from overseas. So, and Discord is based on IP address. So, you can use VPN and set your IP elsewhere. And this kid is very young, and she's not aware of a lot of things, and she may think that this is another gamer. But the thing is that this pedo is technically trying to hook her to, I don't know, maybe send pictures or whatever. So lucky thing we managed to see all that. So usually I will check the screen time and all these kind of things of the students in whoever I deal with. So the moment when they tell me, teacher, I can't open my phone, I'll tell the parents. I said, you better check. Something is wrong. Because if they don't want to open the phone and show, that means there's something that they don't want me to see, maybe you can have a look. So that is, these are a lot of serious things that's going on. And even like last week, 2 cases of students going TikTok live. It's shocking, because like one was during a class tambahan in a school, and then one more was also during a school session, but the teacher has not come in yet. So they were going on TikTok live, and they were chatting with, and then the comments like nak keluar dengan I ke, want to go out with me, or let's hang out, how old are you, where are you from? And then they start giving a lot of gifts on the live sessions. so that these people will respond. So this platform of gifting and all that has encouraged them to go on SOCMED and try to get gifts from strangers while they are actually exposing their face as well. But through that live, what the girls did not know is their school badge was there, and I managed to Google Lens and find the school. If I can find that, someone else can easily find. Yeah.
Scary. But this is a problem now, lah. I've noticed a lot of reports and all that about
Yes,
this.
yes.
But so then let's go to discussing what parents can do, lah. Because from what I'm listening to you, I think the only way to solve this is for parents to become way more involved in their child's daily life, lah. That means they
Yes.
have to be sort of like strict parents. The only way to overcome is to be strict and like to really be like over the shoulder of your children, and
Yes,
even though it may look cruel, but sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind, lah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what can parents do? I mean, let's start with this.
Okay.
At what age can a child access social media? When is it okay? Forget about the laws and the whole community guidelines, because we know that people don't follow this, right?
Yeah.
But so what do you think is the proper age?
18.
18.
Because there's no reason until they are 18 they can socialize with their surroundings.
But do you think that the problem here is that if I were a child at in today's timeline, when I go to school, it's not like when we were in school, right? Where we for example, I don't know whether you did it, but like when those Pepsi cans, we would squash it and play.
correct.
We used to find activities to do.
Yes.
But before teacher coming, we playing in the back of the classroom and all that stuff. See, now you know why I was always in a discipline group. But nowadays, if like I've seen for myself at restaurants, when I see families go out, everybody's on the phone. I cannot understand that. Like the father, the mother, the children. Sometimes worst case is the father, mother will be on the phone. The children will be just looking somewhere.
Yeah, true.
It's so sad,
Yeah.
Like. So, do you think that it's very hard for the child, because everybody, we are social creatures, right? We want to adapt. We want to be a part of a community. But today, it's very hard for the child to be a part of a community because his peers are all on phones. So for him to not have social media will be very, very tough, right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
but should parents then say, screw it, never mind. If you feel bad, you feel bad, but only 18. Should they still go that way?
Then I think the parents need counseling.
Why so? Why do you say that?
Maybe they are too addicted to social media.
Yeah, that's true also. That's true also. Yeah.
When you have a parent who is addicted, the potential of the child being addicted is even higher, because that's the role modeling that they are giving. So it's different when a father takes, let's say a father or mother takes them for badminton, for instance, they will follow that. They will be passionate about it. At the same time, when you go and sit on a table and mother, father sitting down and scrolling, that's what the kid will follow. So that problem is not with social media. That problem is with the parents, and definitely they need counseling on how to take care of their kids. Because one of the things that I would say, dare to say, that nowadays it's easy to give birth to a child maybe, but raising them is a tougher challenge. Because they are learning things very fast. Like during my time, I think standard 1 we were just playing catching and running around. But at this point of time, that standard 1 kid is different. They are exposed to different things. 11, 12 years old can watch Karate Kid and say, oh, I want a girlfriend. Because Karate Kid, he's also having a girlfriend. And those movies are below 12, PG-13 and so on. So they are seeing a lot of things, and there are a lot of things that they don't understand. So as parents, we have to change our thinking where, we don't need to get involved. So before even targeting the kids for social media, like what you said, you go to a restaurant, you sit down and everybody is using handphones, but nobody calls them out, Nobody tells them, hey, what you're doing is wrong. Spend time with your kids. Everybody's like, oh, not my problem. Yeah. And when this happens, eventually the child grows up with that habit, and it becomes a disease. So on a larger scale, to be honest with you, we lose potential students, potential talents, Even those who can be very good at so many subjects or so many sports, they end up deteriorating because of one mistake. So, in these cases, I think many parents should actually attend counseling if they are too addicted with their phone, because otherwise the child will be brought up wrongly.
Another issue that I sort of see, another problem that sort of limits parental involvement into their child's life is that nowadays there's many excuses to go to, right?
Yes.
When we were growing up, I could not go to my father or mother and tell them, listen, Pama, I cannot study because I am depressed.
Yeah.
I beltedy only. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
That's the
correct.
answer. But today, a child can jump and from anything. Of course, and I must say this, there are a group of people who actually suffer from this.
Yes.
There are, okay? But I don't think it's as many as being reported,
Correct.
right? So when you as a parent have a child because of who, and sometimes for me, I look at it as when you use social media too much, the side effect is you get depressed, you get a bit slow and all that, right? How does a parent navigate this? How can they still discipline their kids and know that, look, this is an excuse or this is real?
I guess that is quite subjective, but one of the ways is they can actually be in social media with their kids and actually share more of issues or more positive approaches towards social media by getting the kids to actually go through social media topics which are beneficial for them. So teaching them on toxic approach, teaching them on toxic content, because let's face it, most of the social media content is all based on baits and hooks. They want propagandas. So they talk about more propagandas, and these kids are also hooked on more propagandas. If you remember, there's this one challenge on TikTok. It's something like the mannequin challenge, where they have to sit still and just do one move and get gifts after gifts. So there's this trend going around. I forgot the name, and then most of the kids were astonished by it. Hey, like they would just sit down and then they'll just move like that for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then
You're joking, really?
yes, it was a TikTok trend. I can't get the name,
Okay.
but it was a trend that's going around, and everybody was going on TikTok and just moving like zombies for 2-3 hours a day, perhaps getting gifts. And then these kids are like, and then it came out in the news that this is one guy who did it and he made this much of money, and then every kid was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So when parents are also, let's say, in their social media, they can actually see what they repost, what they share, so they can actually tell them, hey, this thing that you shared is not right. Okay, what are the repercussions, everything, and all that. So then they will understand. But when we don't have anything, like if you don't have anything to do with their social media, basically there's nothing to talk. You cannot monitor, you cannot control, you cannot guide. So when you don't expose them to social media, then it's a different thing. They will get exposed to their friends, maybe. Their friends will have social media. This is another factor that we have an issue that we deal with. My friend has it, I don't have. What a bad mommy and daddy you are, and all that. This will happen, but you have to pull through that. You have to pull through the whatever that happens, if it's for the benefit of the kid. Because there's one thing that I will share with you, is something called insomnia, which many people ignore. When you start scrolling until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or start being on social media until 2, 3 a.m., after that it becomes a habit, then it becomes a sleep issue. Eventually you start getting insomnia, cannot sleep at night factor.
Because of the blue light.
Not really, because your mind is so active, like constantly active until 3 a.m., just doing all this. So it becomes a routine. And after that, you cannot adjust the sleeping time. So even if they have their social medias or their phones with them, they don't need it when they sleep. So these are things, countermeasures parents can take to get involved. Like, okay, give me your phone before you sleep. Or unlock your phone and show me, I want to check. Even if they delete their history or whatsoever, at least they are a bit more careful. Like, okay, I cannot do this. I better not chat, or just maybe during weekends, just at one point of time, just keep the phone over the weekend and just monitor who's texting, what they're talking, because the friends may not know. Like, they might just send and then you can say, oh, what is this? So they have to do constant, like how we used to do spot check in schools. Random.
Yeah.
One random day, just
Suddenly the teacher
suddenly
comes
come and check the bag, and then you will find everything inside.
And then
So-
suddenly you know that you brought like a comic book or something.
Yeah. So suddenly you can just tell your kid, okay, log in your social media, I want to check. And then when the kid freaks out, you know something is wrong.
Mm.
The reaction will tell. Basically, how I do it is I see their reactions. You can actually, because as teachers, we are trained with educational psychology. So in that subject, there's this called this a lot of theories based on behavior, reactions, and so on, multiple intelligences, all this. So one of it is they will always say, look at your kids' gestures, the students' gestures. The gestures will tell you. So at that moment, like when I go towards a student and then the student gets scared, maybe they have been abused or certain things may have happened that they fear the teachers, or maybe they fear the male teachers. So for some reason, we are able to find out based on our communication with them why they don't look and all these kind of things, why they don't look at us, why their eye contact is not at us. And then we just see these kind of signs to know that something is wrong, right? So phones are like that. The moment you say, bring your phone, I want to check, the moment they start freaking out, okay, this guy's hiding something there. So you just have to, some or other, they will have to unlock. Second thing is they don't need to have password. Okay, so if they are having password that their friends may unlock or something like that, chances are that you are having something inside there which is unnecessary that your friends might see. Because other than that, you don't need to have anything personal inside there because they're still young. So when they start having password and all that, and then when you ask, they say, "Oh no, why you want to see?" And then So these are the things that parents need to do. It's not should do, but need to do. It's just like the 90s where you come back home, your dad checks your book and see whether you finish your homework or not. Now you have to check the phone.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Now, like I was talking to you before we started this discussion, I have posted content on this topic. I think the one that was done recently was with a lawyer who talked about how he had a case that this child was diagnosed with having autism.
Yeah.
But then when they did a deep study, a deep dive on the child, they realized that actually it wasn't autism, it was just addicted to social media, right? So it mirrors that, because I'm guessing that both the conditions sort of mirror each other in terms of the symptoms. Now, when I posted that video, I was surprised by how many parents were critical of that content. In fact, more of them were not happy with that video as opposed to there were some who were saying, yes, we should talk about this and all that. So despite all the information out there today, not just Malaysia, internationally also, there's way more and more news articles coming out talking about this issue and how negative social media is to the development of a child. Why are parents today still in denial?
Because they are doing it, so they feel bad.
So they can't just admit and say, what, it's my fault. Yeah.
You see, like for a parent who maybe the child has progressed, they will think like, hey, my child got no problem. I allow him to do it or allow her to do it. But the thing is that, like I said, have you seen the story where a very bright student suddenly takes guns and goes shoot people?
And it's all because,
we have seen this happening before. A very bright student, good student, suddenly because of a game maybe takes guns, and we have heard of the shootings that happened. Nobody knew that guy was just a gamer. How did he have so much of rage suddenly? The parents also were shocked. They say, like, we never knew he was this kind of a person. So it doesn't mean that just because your child is not affected, that others may not be affected. Because every kid, I believe, they have different ways of thinking. Cannot guarantee. So till today, one researcher, I think many people don't understand the purpose of research. Most of them do research to prove that their theory is right. So you will find one research saying that gaming is good. Another research that says that social media is good. Another researcher will say, I use social media and my kids are better. But most of them don't understand. That probability is just maybe 1% because the the amount of participants in the research may be only 100 or 1,000. So at the end of the day, it's not done in an entire 30 million population, so you cannot guarantee that the approach works. So this thing about why parents are against it is because they have implemented that method and they are not happy when someone calls them out. So this is always the repercussions we face whenever we say that it's not good. Social media, can be at risk, can be risky. So at the end of the day, eventually they don't see how it affects other people, because for a parent who monitors, maybe it's okay because they see what their child is doing. So the child maybe never show the darker side of them. But when you have one that the parents are actually quite busy and they work day and night and then they come back, they are so tired and they don't have time, that child may be exposed to a more vulnerable situation. So at that time, this is the truth. Social media is a problem.
Now, I want to do a comparison because when I was growing up, we of course didn't have social media, we didn't have phones and all that, but we had cartoons, we had TV. Okay, so I've also heard of a few parents telling me that certain daycare centers, for example, when they send their kids, they find out later on, much later on, that the child was just watching TV all the time he was there, he or she was there. And that after a while, when they come back, after several months, they realize that the child then just stops talking, more passive and all that. Right. Do parents need to be concerned about TV as well, or is it just purely social media in your opinion?
I think when it comes to toxic environment, social media has it more. A TV can only show you graphics maybe. We actually use that for visual learners, those who are able to learn quickly through visual aids. But then when you compare to SOCMED and also the TV, what they watch on TV is crucial. Like if they watch, for instance, animation like Dragon Ball, used to watch Dragon Ball and all that. So it wasn't so bad because we were just waiting for the next episode to watch it. It wasn't addictive and it was once a week. But nowadays we have cartoons that back-to-back cartoons that watch that go on every day. So that can become an addiction also. But then that at least can be controlled because some or other they cannot sit in the TV for very long. Eventually they will get tired. But social media is different because it's you're communicating. That one is only one way. You don't communicate back. So after some time they will be like, okay, I'm tired, I'll go. But the one about daycare centers, okay, maybe they are using the TV. I think that the approach of the daycare center may be a bit wrong. Or maybe it's a bit too long. I think about 10 minutes, 20 minutes is fine. But if they are hooked too much on the screen, then it becomes another problem because like their mind starts to absorb visual aids more and they won't be able to read. So we have this thing called like okay, when you go and learn ABCD, everybody thinks that you're reading it, but not knowing that actually you listen to it first. Then only you know that's A. If not, you won't know. So A, okay, right, then . So everybody is under the impression that the person is reading it and learning it, but no, they actually listen to it first.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I think I accidentally did that.
Yeah, okay. It's actually the listening that's the most crucial one because like when even a child who needs to know his or her name, they listen to the mom or dad calling it and then they're like, oh, okay, this is my name. So when you call the name, they look. But you don't show them their name.
Fair enough. True. Makes sense.
When you go to no matter what computer or anything you use also, when you show A, the person may see it. But if they can't listen to it, then they won't know that's A. So they'll just know that as, okay, that's a design, that's a pattern, that's it. So when you show them a word, and then they will just see the word, but they won't know how to pronounce it and all that. So for kids who their learning approach. Of course, when you get them to listen, it's just like the Nagaraku. When you constantly sing, you're not going to get the pronunciations wrong. Even though you don't know what the word means, but you're getting it right because you listen to it again and again. So I think that's the part where the daycare may have done it wrong, because when you put TV, they are actually watching the effects more than to what they are listening. So after some time, when you're talking to your child, they may not be paying attention to you, but when you show them something, they are aggravated because that's what they are used to.
Right, man, I didn't know all this stuff, man. Okay, now, I mean, amazing. But I want to dive into this last few things. So, firstly, is of course, you are the founder of Sapphire Academy and all that. So, describe about your business, man. What do you actually do?
One of it is we arrange home tutoring for many teachers, especially this one during the pandemic, because it was quite a big hit for many teachers. And then, there's this thing called commission. So we started off Sapphire Malaysia services to do it commission free. So we hook up many tutoring jobs to teachers without charging them anything, both ends also. So it's a very transparent platform. So we just intro and that's it.
Okay.
So through that also we run our online classes, even for me or other teachers as well. And then Sapphire Academy is more like the how do you say? We do more corporate training, but not under the HRDF banner. So it's more like just we did that to actually target more schools in a way, because we wanted to do more programs for schools, especially in this matter. So because the education industry, they don't have this HRDF thing. So there's not much kind of trainings going on. Most trainings will be more on technical, but motivasi for the matter. But as in getting teachers to look at this kind of red flags in kids, to find out this kind of issues, or to even get them to study students' behaviors and so on. These kind of things is very rarely done. So we have approached certain schools, but as usual, it's not a very prominent thing, because like they are using social media.
Yeah, exactly.
They are using social media.
Yeah.
They are using the kids for their social media, so they will not be be happy to know that
It's just shocking when you say this, right? Because basically what that means is this person who has a child who's entrusted, whether by a higher being or whatever, entrusted to ensure the future of this child, is hiding away from the fact that their habit is ruining this child, and it's so negligent. I mean, it's almost criminal to me, I feel.
Yes, definitely. You see, like maybe I'm from a school, and then I want to increase my reputation as a educator, and my school maybe wants me to do it because it gains the school a better reputation. So what they do is they use the kids, and then they will say, "Oh, our school is very fantastic." The kids are. What you're not, the undeniable fact is you are exposing the child. You are exposing where that, especially primary kids, where that kid is actually studying. How long would it take for a kidnapper to just come and just watch and observe? And another incident that happened in one of the schools that I saw on social media as well. This teacher it's a language class, perhaps, but he was going around doing things that were unnecessary, like religion based. So then this question is like, how can this be? Because it's supposed to be a language classroom, but you're using it to spread religion, but you're exposing that kid on TikTok. So you can blur the face at least, but no. And the worst part is, they as teachers, we are not supposed to hug our students. One of the things that I don't like on social media is when the teachers, there's a boundary as a teacher you need to set, which I'm wondering even why KPM has not talked about it, MOE. Teachers are not supposed to hug kids, Be it whether male or female, you're not supposed to hug because that's other people's children. So ethically, morally, you're not supposed to do that. So sometimes the kids come and hug them. We think it's the teacher is very kind and but an actual teacher will know this is not the right thing to do, because can you guarantee like you don't have any bacteria, virus, or any sort of thing on you that can transfer to the kid? So now this trend has been going around where hug and go, hug and go, hug and go.
Yeah, I've seen that where teachers want to show what a great teacher they are. See, my students love me.
But ethically you can't. And moreover, for a male teacher, you cannot do that. Definitely.
Males, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Back in the day, I was never hugged by anyone. I was beaten by a lot, but not hugged.
Yeah. So there definitely that ethics between a teacher and a kid, that one is being broken already. So whose responsibility? Definitely the teacher's responsibility. The school is aware, but they're okay because the school's reputation gets higher. So then they allow it. So these are factors that are not being taken seriously, because how sure? Because pedophilia is both ways, male teacher or female teacher also. How sure are you that the teacher who's hugging that student is not a pedophile? You won't know. It can happen. We have seen cases of teachers having an affair with students. It has come out in newspapers.
Yeah.
So that boundary is still not being set. And everybody is like, the teacher is very loving. Loving means we have to do the right thing.
Exactly.
That's the right thing to do. So at the end of the day, but the boundaries are not being set in schools. So of course I'm going to get called out for saying this, but never mind.
but you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So before we go, just want to close it on this note. Maybe you can, in summary, just share your advice to parents on how they can navigate this world that we're living in now, where social media is such a big part of our life. It's a cultural thing almost, right? And how they can protect their child and ensure the safety and proper development of their child.
Well, parents have to get back to basics. At this point of time, it is more, it's double the work than how it was before. So I would advise them to take more initiative to spend time with the child, teach them about predators, teach them about pedophilia, teach them about social media, algorithms, hooks, teach them not to adult too fast. So that is one thing, like 11 years old wearing makeup and doing dance on TikTok and all these kind of things. I think you are teaching the kid the wrong thing, because after that they will believe that's the world. Even if it's a 7-year-old kid putting makeup on her, getting her to dance and putting on TikTok and then saying that it's cute, and then down there's one comment like, I can't wait for this girl to grow. So I think parents have to really get involved and do the right thing, and make sure that monitor who are they chatting with, and strictly no unnecessary chats with strangers. And maybe they should stop being on the phones as well.
They should practice what they preach. Thank you so much, Chigo, for coming on. It's been really amazing. I would love to have you on again and again and again, because I think you share so much of value to parents, and I think it is very, very tough to be a parent today.
Yes.
It's tougher to be a child today.
Yes.
And I think there's so much of negativity and forces that are purposefully trying to bring you down. I think it's very, very tough. And I think we need people like you to keep on sharing so that we can learn and improve. Because believe me, as a parent, I don't know what's coming to me. I really don't know. But thank you so much. And to all of you guys want to get in touch with Kevin, we will be sharing his links on all the videos that we upload on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. So if you guys have any questions for parenting, you want to check out his online home tutoring platform that he has as well, and just connect with him and get advice on how to navigate, raising your child in today's world. We will be sharing his social media profile, so you can directly speak to him. And if you guys want us to connect you all personally, you can drop us a note as well. Send me a message, and I will connect the two. So thank you so much, Kevin.
No problem.
Thanks, buddy.
No, thanks.
Right. So as always, guys, please share your comments. I can't wait to hear them. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you all soon. We have many great episodes coming up. And so stay tuned. Bye.